In a quiet village surrounded by a dark, ancient forest, there lived a boy named Leo. The villagers always spoke of the forest in hushed tones. "Never go in after dark," they would warn. "The trees whisper secrets you will wish you'd never heard." But Leo was curious, too curious for his own good. He'd heard the whispers before, faint and far away when he sat near the trees at sunset. But tonight, the moon hung bright and full in the sky, casting silver light over the rooftops, and the whispers seemed to beckon him. "Elio," it whispered, soft and stretched, like someone breathing his name into the wind. Leo's heart skipped a beat. "Who's there?" he called, his voice trembling. No answer, just a peek, he whispered to himself as he slipped out of his house and crept toward the edge of the woods. The trees loomed tall and shadowy, their branches clawing at the sky. As Leo stepped into the forest, the cool night air wrapped around him like icy fingers. At first, it was silent except for the crunch of leaves beneath his shoes. But then, the wind stirred, carrying a faint, eerie voice. Only the wind and the sound of leaves rustling overhead. But the whisper came again, louder this time. "Leo! Come closer. We've been waiting for you." Despite his fear, Leo moved deeper into the forest. The trees seemed to shift around him, their trunks twisting as if watching him. He stopped abruptly when he saw a faint glow flickering ahead, like the light of a lantern. He followed the glow until he reached a clearing. In the center stood a crooked wooden cabin, its roof sagging under the weight of years. The lantern hung on the porch, swaying gently though there was no breeze. Leo hesitated, his instincts screaming at him to turn back. But then, the door creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness inside. "Hello," he called, his voice barely above a whisper. A faint, childlike giggle echoed from within. "Don't be afraid, Leo," a voice said, soft and inviting. He stepped inside. The air was cold and smelled of damp wood. Shadows danced along the walls, though there was no fire. In the corner stood a tall, cracked mirror. Leo approached it cautiously, but when he looked into it, his stomach twisted. It wasn't his reflection staring back. Instead, the faces of children, pale and wide-eyed, pressed against the glass. They whispered in unison, their voices rising like a chilling chorus. "Why didn't you listen? We told you to stay away." Leo stumbled back, his breath caught in his throat. He turned toward the door, but it slammed shut with a deafening bang. The shadows in the room coiled together, forming the shape of a tall figure cloaked in darkness. Its hollow voice filled the cabin. "You should not have come here," it said, its words crackling like brittle leaves. Leo screamed, "Let me go. Please." Suddenly, he felt a hand on his shoulder. His eyes flew open, and he found himself lying on the grass at the forest's edge. His mother knelt beside him, her face pale with worry. "Leo, you fell asleep under the tree," she said, shaking him gently. "I've been looking everywhere for you." Leo sat up, his heart pounding. The forest was quiet now, the whispers gone. But as he looked into the darkness between the trees, he saw it, a faint lantern glow flickering deep within. He grabbed his mother's hand and didn't look back. From that night on, Leo stayed far away from the forest. But sometimes, when the wind blew just right, he thought he could still hear it. "Elio. We'll be waiting."